All right, we're the Respoolers. My name's Elias.
My name's Sergio. All right, so people who own Bamboo Lab 3D printers that use automated material systems, otherwise known as AMS, have the issue where they can't use filaments from third-party brands, such as a company like Overture PLA. And so the issue with that is that they have less freedom to choose what type of filament and what brands they want to use, since it's only compatible, or since these spools that are required for AMS are only compatible with AMS. That's where our solution comes in. Our goal was to be under $100, which we've met, and we also wanted to be robust, sleek, minimal use of space, and we really just wanted it to be simple to the user with as few inputs and outputs as possible. So now it's time for a demonstration.
All right, so basically you've got one stepper motor over here that'll spool this, another one that moves the feeder mechanism back and forth. So if you're ready, we can start this up. You can see this is kind of moving back and forth. That'll give it even coils as the winding. This over here, it's got a brake just to keep everything under tension.
Right now we have to use two different Arduinos here and here. The reason for that is because we can't run them on the same loop at the same time. Otherwise, in the future, we'd want to run this off of one Arduino and one power system.
And then if anything were to go wrong, so once this reaches the end, I've got a stop button.
Yeah, right there.
Cool. Alright, so next.
So now we want to just explain really quickly how everything works together. So here's a quick diagram of how the spooler component works. Essentially, you just have the Arduino powering a stepper motor, and it runs off of two different loops. One checks whether or not the start button has been pressed, and then the other loop is a while loop that continuously checks whether or not the stop button has been pressed, and also runs the actual spooler stepper motor component.
Alright, so next is the feeder. It uses a stepper motor that came in the Arduino kits because it doesn't require quite as much torque. Basically, just stepper motor to your stepper driver and then into your Arduino.
Next up, we have a flow chart. It's essentially what I just explained, that being that it runs off of two different loops, one being an if loop, one being a while loop, and continuously checking whether or not the start button has been pressed, and then moving on to whether or not the stop button has been pressed, while also running the spooler code to the stepper motor. And then finally, this is just a code snippet that I wanted to include for the spooling component. The goal of this is basically just to show how it's going to run with direction. So direction controls whether or not it's counterclockwise or clockwise. And the rest of this is able to control speed based off of timing, as well as how many revolutions it does in one loop.
Alright, this is the flowchart for the other stepper motor. Basically, just our variables are the angle that it's at, the stepper motor, and then the RPM that it runs at. Basically, in our setup, we have it so that it sets to an angle, and then just two loops that move it 55 degrees in one direction, and then 55 degrees in the other direction. We found that those degree increments worked best with the length of this slot here. Next, for the code snippet for this, this is just in the setup. This is really important. It hard sets it to one angle by moving it 55 degrees from wherever it is, and so that's because the stepper motors don't keep track of location, only how many angles they move. So that's where you get that hard set over here. Otherwise, it could start here and try to move all the way over here, and then only to there and back.
And finally, one last thing I want to demonstrate with the part is how easy it is to take apart. So you just pull out this red piece, you push back while holding on the stepper motor, the spool will come out, and then you can twist this piece apart, which is what clamps the spool together. This just being a 2 sides threaded piece. And once you tighten it, clamps it down together and allows you to put it back together with the stepper motor. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate your time.